So, Amit, could you start off by telling me a little bit about the developments you've made to VidaViz?
Yeah, sure. It's a pleasure. So last time we had seen how you could basically do visual slicing and dicing using this interface, and that was built around a single person sitting with a bunch of numbers, actually a big bunch of numbers, and very efficiently going through them, trying to understand stories behind that or inside that. Now, see, the thing that is driving these developments is the fact that there is a lot of information that comes out of these models. And I believe that a single analyst cannot do full justice to all the insights that are hidden in these numbers. So the effort is to put them out in a form that somebody who is not in the guts of the model and intimately familiar with the naming conventions, even that person, if he has a reasonable domain awareness, then the person can actually sit with these results and try to understand what's going on. So, with that in mind, there are two developments that I would like to share with you. One is to create presentations out of views that an analyst has made using the system.
Okay.
So, the list of views that you see here are made exactly like what we saw in the previous video. I could record my observations on each slide in that system, and this is the output of that exercise basically.
Okay.
So, and now the idea is that I would use this in a presentation and then send this link to the audience, and they can do exactly everything that I am doing right now on their time. So they can sit with these slides and look at all this live data in a very, very friendly form. So these are the observations.
So it's not like a PowerPoint slide because it's live data.
Yes, it's live data and it has a lot of flexibility. I mean, it has limited slicing and dicing abilities even in a presentation mode. So for example, you can convert this to this kind of view where you can compare more easily what's going on, and then you can also see it animated like that.
Right.
So you can see how this scenario transforms to this scenario, transforms to this scenario. So you can see exactly what changes across each jump, and you can also access the numbers behind this. So you see, this is, I mean, compare this with a PowerPoint or something that you show on screen. I mean, this is so much more available to be seen or to be absorbed or even scrutinized by the audience. And so that's the idea, to just put out the information in a much more flexible and usable form.
And you've still got all of that interactivity as well with the animations and
Yeah.
accessing the numbers behind.
Yeah.
So what about the second innovation that you've made? Can you show me that and tell me a little bit about it?
Yes. So now the other form in which you can wade through a very large amount of information is actually even friendlier than the previous one. Now this we have called the Policymakers Portal, with the idea that somebody who is interested in only the big picture,
Right.
that person should be able to sit with this interface and go through a large number of scenarios that have been pre-run by the model. So the model can run a very large number of scenarios, and then somebody can sit here and generate a lot of interesting insights about what happens to what under what conditions.
Okay.
So for example, this is using our global TM world model, and so what you see here are the key results. So primary energy supply, electricity generation, CO2 emissions by region, global uses of bioenergy, radiative forcing. Now this is what I mean, finally we are interested in, because we want the radiative forcing to stay below certain levels. And policy cost, that what does it cost, what are the annual costs of all these choices. Now what is there at the bottom is what defines scenarios. So energy intensity, is it low or reference? Wind and solar, do you have a reference assumption on that or advanced? bioenergy availability is high or low. Emissions, 3 levels, 450 ppm, 550 and
And
reference.
a reference level, yeah.
CCS is available or not. Nuclear is available or not. So all these actually make 96 scenarios, because 2 into 2, you multiply all these and you have 96 scenarios, so which have already been run. So if you want to look at the reference case, you just choose each dimension at the reference level. So energy intensity is reference, emission is reference, wind and solar is reference, bioenergy is high, CCS is on, nuclear is on. So this is our global reference scenario, in which this is the problem, that we have radiative forcing that goes very high, and that's why this whole business is going on. So you can see that there is a lot of coal in primary energy, a lot in electricity, and so on. And bioenergy stays low, it doesn't really increase too much, and there is some biofuel which is green, and actually the red is biofuel, and this is electricity. Okay, these are direct uses. So now if you wanted to see how the system would look under a 550 ppm target, so just change one dimension at a time, and you see how each of these things change. So the bio that was sitting at 60 is now suddenly almost more than double.
And the radiative forcing is plateaued out.
Yes, that was actually, this is what drives the scenario, that we say that the radiative forcing should not cross 3.7. So this is, and then you see how the policy costs have gone up, and then you see how the mixes have changed for electricity and primary level.
Yeah.
And now you might want to see what impact does a low bioenergy have under this. So then you see how each of the things adjust. This will not change, because this is what defines the scenario. But the bioenergy has gone down, and something else, this wind and solar, would go up to make up for the loss of bioenergy. So on top of that, if you switch off nuclear, then those orange bars would go, and then you see who has replaced. So there's more CCS, and there's probably a little more of renewable too. So this is the basic idea, that you can do a lot of these question answers depending on your interest and your requirement, because otherwise a single analyst is just not in a position to do justice to this volume of results.
So those are basically my on-off buttons down here, and I can play around with those and then get an instant, very visual overview of the different scenarios.
Right, that how the system reconfigures itself in response to that one thing that you have changed here.